What's up, what's up, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Miss J. Can y'all hear the music? I had to put my theme song on. Hey, it is Sunday. What's up, what's up, what's up? We about to get ready for this conversation. What's up, Laura? Y'all go check out Miss One Lord Faye, baby. The scrub game, she got it. She got what you need. Especially all you homeschooling people who need some uniforms. Go check her out. Check her out, check her out. Sup. Y'all, can y'all hear my music? Say yeah. So we waited on Nasia Smith to come on in so we can get this conversation started. Yes. Turn up and hear, baby. You know what I mean. Want you to hear everything. Want you to see all of it. Hey. Yeah, we waiting on Nasia to come on in. Let me see if I can find it, y'all. If you want it, you can get it for the rest of your life. Hey, something wrong. Hey. What's up, y'all? Today we will be talking about parenting after trauma. Oh, it's about to get real. So if you ain't a real one, you might want to get on up out of here. Go somewhere else. No, we gonna have this much needed hard conversation. Yes, here we go. Let me get in here. Hey, we got.
Hey,
Hey.
How are you?
Music. Wait. You gotta turn up with me. Turn up. Hey.
Wait, you gotta turn it up a little loud. I could barely hear it. Oh yeah, that's my song.
Okay, let me stop because every time I play music in the background, Instagram shadow ban me or something.
Oh yeah, Instagram will.
I don't understand it. They'll let you play the music in your stories from the music thing, but they won't let you play music in the background. Don't make sense to me, but
It has to be a way around it because some people I do watch them work out and stuff, and I be doing workouts with them, and they be playing music in the background. I'm like, how do they play music?
How? Right.
I don't know.
Girl, it's crazy. It's crazy. So everybody, this is Miss Nasia Smith. And the name of her business is Healthy, Healed, and Happy. And she is here to talk to us about parenting after trauma, which is very, very, very much needed, especially in our neighborhoods and our community. We see a lot of trauma. And so before we get started, Miss Nasia, I want you to introduce yourself to everyone.
Hi, my name is Nasia Smith, Nasia Nicole. I go by, a lot of people call me Nas, and I have been an educator since 2004. So a very long time, middle school, 6th through 8th grade in particular. And I'm also a mom to a teen son. And also now I am a parent coach as well. So I am here to talk about parenting after trauma, social emotional wellness, things that are not taught in the school system that, should be taught. But it's just something that I feel like is the missing link in education.
Yes. Yes. Well, we are gonna hop right into it, but before we hop right in, y'all know what this is. This is dropping gems, and I'm Miss J, and I work with parents, teachers, children, and small business owners in all aspects of early childhood education. Right now, to bridge the gap that's inhibiting us from pouring into our children the correct way. And so everything that we're going to be talking about today is how we could help each other, one another, with our children, because guess what? They are the future. Whitney Houston wrote the song. Y'all know it. It's correct. You know, they are the future. And so we are going to get into this. And I'm glad you talked about social and emotional learning. And she said she works with 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th graders, right? She up there in that middle.
Not fifth, the 6th, 7th, and 8th.
The 6th, 7th, 8th graders, right? In that age range with Miss Johnson. I worked there, but baby, I gotta give you a hand clap. Girl, that age was something
Listen,
else, baby.
they always say the younger grade teachers always say that. They're always like, I don't know how you deal with middle school. And the middle school teachers are always like, kudos to the younger grades, because you have to have a big personality. You have to be creative or extra creative. You have to, just be able to draw and artsy.
Yes. And then, I got the babies, but
you got the babies. I know.
Yeah, but I have worked all the way up into high school, not high school, but like after school programs like Upper Bound and stuff. But I have worked in the Chicago public school system from kindergarten up into 8th grade, and let me tell you, I was like, let me go back to my babies, cause my babies, that's where I'm at. But no, social emotional learning, social emotional anything is very important, and we do that a lot in early childhood education, but I don't see it a lot being done in certain schools for your age group. So let's talk about that a little bit more. How does that transpire look for the older age groups? Because I sit here and I talk about how it look for the younger children all the time. And I'm pretty sure some similarities, but I'm sure some differences that you could talk on as well.
Yeah, for the middle school, I mean, I used to teach in K a K through 8 school. Mm-hmm. And like you said, K through 5 is like you're teaching them, so many things that's super important. But when they get to like 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, it's like the ball drops, right? Mm-hmm. And not only the ball not only drops for them, but a lot for the parents. A lot of times, in my experience, what was happening is like the parents would be there and would be supportive from K through 5. When we had assemblies, when we had report card night, when we had presentation nights, all of that, it would be like a packed room, a packed house. And then from like we used to have 2 different nights, and then it's like from 6th through 8th grade, it would be like almost empty. And I'm like, where is the support here?
Yes.
Like I don't understand why this auditorium is empty.
Right.
And so it was an eye opener to me that there was I guess a disconnect. A lot of parents think that at that age they need to pull back, like, oh, they're getting older, let me pull back and give them space. But that's actually when you're needed the most. You know what I mean? And so what was happening is like, oh, so my parent is not coming. They don't really care. I mean, that's what this child is, internalizing this as. Like, they don't really care, so I don't really have to do X, Y, Z. I don't really have to do, you know what I mean? I'm not putting my best foot forward, anymore because, I'm not getting that support. And so I just saw like it was hand in hand. It wasn't just, and then what I was seeing from parents, they were so shocked that their kids, oh, they were used to be a straight A student. Oh, they used to be so good. They used to be good at this and good at that. Now they don't even
speak on it.
Now they don't want to do that. And I'm looking like,
why?
There's a reason why.
Why? Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they put a lot of work into this, and you don't even come to pick up the report card. Like, you're not even here talking to the teacher. You're not here. So it's like,
tell them, girl, because I be needing some backup. You know what I'm saying? I be needing exactly. But we don't, hey, this is going to be a real conversation. So I'm trying to tell y'all, be ready. But yes, that is so true. It's so
Yeah.
true.
And so it's like unspoken expectations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's an unspoken expectation that that you're giving your child when you're not there to support them in their academics.
Right. Let's back it up for just a second. Let us tell the parents, in case they don't know, what social and emotional learning is. For those of you who don't know, social and emotional learning, or do you want to tell them? You
Oh
want to
no,
tell
go ahead.
them?
Go ahead. I'll jump in.
So social emotional skills, social emotional learning focus on students capabilities of processing their emotions, processing the way that they deal or work with other people, and it focuses on, let's just say it's really a lot of dealing with their emotions and feelings, and just to break it down, y'all, because it's like 5 areas. And that is the biggest part. So how do we teach this, or how do we process through this? And that is what social and emotional learning is. I feel this way. Can I understand how this person feels from their perspective? And can we work through this together? That is what social and emotional learning is. And then it's 5 core areas. I'm going to tell y'all what those areas are. Um, we got self-management, okay, where they are managing their emotions, controlling their behavior and regulating all of that stuff, right? Then we have decision making. Can they process make a decision on their own without needing help or guidance? Can they go through that process, right? We have self-awareness. Are you even aware right now of how you feel? What is making you feel this way? And what triggered it, right? And then we got social awareness, right? What is going on with everything else around the world? And right now, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, in the relationship skills, right? So how do you get along with others? So that's what social and emotional learning focuses on a lot, and that's with the older children and the younger children as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I love focusing on the growth mindset versus fixed mindset. That's what I focus on a lot
Mm-hmm.
in my classroom.
You tell us.
Self-awareness, self-awareness. So it goes along with self-awareness. Like, do you have a growth mindset in terms of, are you a student who embraces challenges? You like to accept critical feedback and you use that critical feedback to do better, right? You reflect on the way you're behaving, you reflect on how your actions are leading to certain outcomes. You reflect on your responsibility in decision making and how that leads to, again, self awareness, how that leads to your desired outcome or your lack of desired outcome. Um, are you one to build relationships and to embrace relationships so that you can grow and be better at what it is you're doing? Or do you have a fixed mindset? A fixed mindset is like, you, no matter what you do, you just think you're a failure.
Ooh, speak
You
on it.
yeah, like you believe that is either you were either born smart or you're not.
Mm-hmm.
You don't believe in, like, there's no point of working hard because in your mind you feel as though no matter what you do, you are not going to do well, so it doesn't matter. So you look at other kids in the classroom as like, oh, those are the smart kids, not
Right.
me. And so
Right.
if you have a fixed mindset, it's hard to even get into the learning, because I teach English, I teach reading and writing. But how can we even get to, you get into reading level and all of this other stuff if you have a fixed mindset and you
Yes.
feel as though no matter what you do, you cannot grow. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
I like to, touching on, fixed mindset, growth mindset is my main thing. And then my next thing is mindfulness, just being able to just be present in the moment and not have your mind thinking about this and thinking about that and thinking about that. Like learning how to control yourself enough where you can just be in the present moment so that you can get that present thing that we're talking about, and you're not, so far into, the future, or you're not stuck in the past. You know what I mean?
Right.
So those are some of the things we touch on in middle school.
Yes. So when we're talking about parenting after trauma, how does this social and emotional learning that we do with the children relate to the parents that we help as well?
It relates because it's hard to teach your children these things if you haven't mastered it yourself. So if you are not aware and present, right, and you are if you're not aware and present and you're parenting, right, you're modeling for your child, how to how they should behave, right? And a lot of times we unintentionally model things. And so my thing is, you have to be socially and emotionally well and healed and things like that, or at least working towards it, so that you can make that connection with your child, or so you can even recognize what's going on with your child. Because if you're not in the present moment, your child could be going through God knows what, and you don't even know what's happening.
Girl,
you saw a lot of those memes through on social media through the pandemic, where it was like, oh, I just found out my child can't read.
Yep. Oh, we
right?
talk about this all the time, y'all. On my page, I don't know how many of my parents in here, but what do I tell y'all all the time? You are your child's first and biggest teacher. They are modeling, and they do as you do and not as you say. So everything that you do, they are modeling all the time. And like Sister Nasia said, if you are not aware of yourself, your growth and your development, how you feel, your social, your emotional awareness of yourself, how are you going to be able to recognize this in your child? And furthermore, how are you going to be able to build that connection? Because it's all about connection, right?
Right. That's the thing. It's all about the relationship. And so if your child is acting a certain way, it has a reason why. Like, it's always a reason why. Like, the child is not coming in the classroom avoiding work just because they just don't want to do work. You know what I mean? Like, there's always an underlying reason. You get what I'm saying? Maybe they just don't have the tools. You know what I mean? Maybe they just don't know that they don't know the how. You have to fill in those gaps. You know what I mean? You can't just be like, oh, for example, one of my expectations for my students is you should be reading, a book every 2 weeks, right? But I'm not going to just be like, oh, you just should be reading a book every 2 weeks. Go have at it. Figure it out. Like, I need to teach you a strategy as to how we can do that. Let's do a little bit of math here. If you read 20 minutes, even 4 days a week, right? And we know from doing little time readings in class that the average, if you're in your just right book, because I teach them how to find their Lexile levels and, their books, the Lexile level of their book to match their reading level. So if you're in your just right book, average, it takes about a minute and a half to read a page, give or take. So if you know that you could read 20 pages a night, 15 to 20 pages a night, 4 nights a week, and the average book is less than 200 pages at that age, you should be able to read a book every 2 weeks. And so now we're breaking it down. So now it's like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. Okay, so I could choose to do maybe 20 minutes these 4 days, or I could just read 80 pages on Saturdays and Sundays, maybe 40 on Saturday, 40 on Sunday, or maybe however, I have different ways to get to the end goal instead of me just telling you what it is to do. So just like I do that as a teacher, we have to do that as parents. Instead of saying, oh, you need to do this, that, and the third, it's like, okay, yeah, I know I need to do it. Of course I need to do it, but how do I do it? Can you show me how to get from here to here? Right. Can you show me some, management skills, or can you show me how to organize my notebook? Or can you show, because like I have parents that'll say like, oh my gosh, their backpacks are so junky, or their notebooks are so junky, everything is all over the place. But it's like, okay, but did you show them what's the best way to organize the notebook? Right. What's the best organization strategy? Did we show them the strategy, or are you just telling them, oh, they need to fix it? Right. It's the same thing with managing emotions. It's like,
Yep.
oh, you know, sometimes we'll say to our kids, like, oh, you need to be more grateful, or oh, you need to be this, you need to be that.
But
Again,
how?
how do you do that? You
Yep.
know, maybe you should have a conversation with them every day and say, give me 3 things that you're grateful for. That's what
Yeah.
I do to my students. When
Yes.
you're complaining, you don't like Mondays. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, I hate Mondays. You don't get to hate Mondays in my classroom, honey.
Right.
No, Now, if something happened to you and you had a bad day, then we could talk about that. But
Yeah.
you're not gonna just come in and be like, oh, I hate Mondays because today Monday. No, we
Right.
grateful in this. We're happy we're alive. Right.
And
So I need you to
can
tell me
I
some things that went well.
yeah, can I back you up on that too for the parents? Because
Mm-hmm.
what I hear a lot from parents is, oh, it's different with the teacher than it is at home, which is right? Because students, children, no matter what age, they know what they can and cannot get away with, and because
Mm-hmm.
you are their parent, they kind of know your breaking point, right? And
Yeah.
they're gonna try you. So parents easily get frustrated, right? Because they have so much other stuff going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you break it down, like how you mentioned, breaking it down, because that's how we do it in class. We break those points down in class. If you break that down at home, it would be less frustrating for you and the child. And so
Exactly.
then, whereas the child really don't want to do the work, right? It doesn't feel like a hassle when you break it down, like Miss Nasia said, as far as like, oh, you could read this many pages a week or a day, right? And it gives them that opportunity. I'm always talking about giving our children options, right? It gives them that opportunity. Oh, I could read more than 5 pages a day, and I really like this book, so I'm gonna keep
Mm-hmm.
reading, right? Whereas if they just doing it just because they know to do it, well, you have gave them a system to do, and everything is all good. It's less frustrating for you, and it's less frustrating for that child because now they have a system in place.
And not only just to piggyback on the system or to add to the system, not only give them the system, but show that you're interested in what they're reading. Ask them
Yes.
questions. Well,
Ooh,
what are you reading? What is it about? What did you learn? You know what I
yes.
mean? Like, what can you take away from this? What are the themes? You know what I mean? What's the messages? Read me a page.
Gotta be invested.
You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like, read a page to me so we could talk about it. Let's have this conversation. You know what I mean? Because you can learn a lot about your child, you know, just through their thinking. You
Yes.
know what I mean? My son and I just read The Alchemist together this summer. That was his summer reading book, but we read it together because I know it's a good book. I read it before and I wanted to read it, with him because I wanted to have those conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it just led to a lot of life conversations and just it helped me
Yeah.
to see like, oh, so what do you think about this? What's your perspective? And it just opened up so many
So much.
conversations. And I'm like, oh, so give me an example. So you know what I mean? And we went just
Yep.
back and forth. And it just shows. So now it becomes more than a
More than
summer reading project. It's like
exactly.
we're bonding through that project.
Yep. And
You know what
that's
I mean?
with anything,
Bonding through
y'all.
the conversation.
That's with anything. Because I do that with music all the time, especially with the older the child is.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of write off their music all the time. I have put something down before about G Herbo. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm on G Herbo, y'all. Oh, I be listening to G Herbo. But I
I
was
forgot who that is.
he is a Chicago artist, right? And I'm from
Okay.
Chicago, and I wasn't even listening to him. It took somebody else a bonding moment, right? Sitting
Mm-hmm.
down, having these difficult conversations and stuff like that, right? Where now it led to something deeper, like you said, like life
Mm-hmm.
conversations
Yep.
about what's going on in their mind. Like, okay, you listening to the lyrics is gonna
Mm-hmm.
tell you what's going on in your child's mind, things of that nature. So
Yeah.
it's deeper, like being involved and asking these questions and talking to them, observing, being present in
Mm-hmm.
the moment, all this stuff that we're talking about, social and emotional,
Mm-hmm.
is deeper than the eye could see, right? And that is how
Right.
you're building your relationship with your
Yep.
child.
And I like that you brought up the music because it could, like you said, it could work with anything: music, TV shows, um, a lot of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
articles, news. And
Yeah.
one of the things I do with my son is 14. we always go back and forth about like what music was better, like music in the 90s and
Mm-hmm.
or music, now, whatever. And we've come to the conclusion that a lot of the music still has the same terrible themes, even though we loved it. I loved it when I was younger. A lot of the themes are the same. It's just a different way, so like a lot of times he'll be like, all right, listen to this artist, and he'll play it, and I'll be like, okay, but what is he really saying? Like, and we'll like literally debrief the lyrics or whatever.
Yep.
And another way, like you said, is another bonding, and we'll take turns. Like sometimes I'll play a song and he'll be like, okay, that's hot, but he's still talking about blah blah blah. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
you
yeah,
made
but
it
it's not.
into a game.
Yeah, I'm like, but it's not as open as what
Yeah.
he's talking. You know what I mean? And so we had those stuff. So I'm glad you brought up the music, because it's not just through reading. It could be through anything. It could be through any, different types of, means. Even social media, like, stuff that you're seeing on social media, like even talking about, that. Because
Yeah.
they spend a lot of time on social media. You know what I mean? Like, who are you following? What type of, messages are they putting out there? Why do you follow this person? You know what I mean? Because everything that if you're on your phone a lot, which a lot of these teens obviously are, you're getting a lot of subconscious messaging. I just read an article that said that younger teenagers who are on social media, they're more depressed. And I can see why, because you're comparing yourself to this person
all the time. Yep.
and so it's like you have to be, that's another part of parenting in terms of like just knowing who they follow on social media, why, and having those conversations. It's all about conversation.
Right. So with your parents, okay, say for instance, I am a parent and you have parents who know that they went through trauma, and then you have parents who probably don't even recognize that something traumatic has happened to them and it's affecting the way that they're parenting.
Mm-hmm.
I get those type of students to me all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who comes to me and they could be adults too. They have an issue because they cannot properly bond with their parent, because the parent don't want to talk to them. It's always a constant fight. It's always a bumping of heads and things of this nature. So I have a question for those type of parents. Well, we always feel like you gotta want the help, but what if they don't know that they need the help? How do you bring that to their attention?
My thing is connecting. I have my first part of my whole strategy is helping parents to connect the dots on how they were parented or how they were not parented.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of parents will be like, well, when I was younger, I couldn't even say this, that, and the third. And I'm like, but how did that work out for you? So let's look at the effects of the way you were parented or the way you were not parented. You know what I mean? So if you were parented in a way where you were to be seen and not heard, and you couldn't say, you couldn't say things. Well, how did that affect you as a child, and how does that still affect you as an adult? Like, we need to really dig deep into the effects of it, because let's not just focus on how you were raised, because some parents will be like, well, this is how I was raised, this is how I was raised. Okay, but this is how you were raised, but we really need to just really dig deep and be honest about how did it affect you, and how does it continue to affect you. You know what I mean?
Do they come to you on their own, or is there like a process in which you get these parents to come to you and talk to you? Is it like, I'm trying to figure out?
A lot of times it happens organically. Like,
Okay.
a lot of times it's organic. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's in a reaction to what they're going through with their child.
Mm-hmm.
So it's when the child is so off the hook, when I can't get my child to get to school, when I don't know what's wrong with her, I don't know what's wrong with him. It's in that I don't know what's wrong with them conversations.
Faith. Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like that, and then but now I'm actually am putting together opportunities so parents can sign up for. I'm in the process of that right now. Like, that's where my wheels are going right now, because one of the biggest issues that we have in our school district now is a lot of parents are complaining that there's not a lot of parental support in terms of like how to best help their child.
And I could
And so,
agree to that. I could agree to
yeah.
that with a lot of places. I know you in Massachusetts, but that's like global, and
Yeah.
I'm really big on parent involvement and
Mm-hmm.
educating parents. So that's why I give parent educational classes so that to help parents, become a better teacher essentially. It's not to help them through, it helps through the parenting process, but that's not what I'm trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important, and it's because of what you just said. It's not a lot of parent support, and I really don't think parents know how much power they have inside these school systems, but they have to
Mm-hmm.
show up. They have to get
Right.
involved. They got to go to these PTAs and all this other stuff. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really glad you said that.
Well, that's where I'm headed in my school district, where I am. I've been thinking about just, creating those spaces and those workshops that will speak to the voices, that the feedback that we're hearing about what's needed.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like we collect all this data. It's like, oh, we need this, we need that, but we still don't have it. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just say,
Pretty,
you need, it's like you
pretty.
need a class on, how to teach or how to have a growth mindset versus how to have a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset with yourself, and how to implement that into your child. Let me create that for you so you can sign up for this workshop. So I
Yes,
am in the midst of creating various workshops for my school district. Um, you know, just
yes.
based on the need.
Good, good. I love it. I love it. We need more of that. Yes,
Yes,
bring it.
definitely.
My Yeah, we're gonna have to do something together because my classes are coming out soon, y'all. But yeah, I love it. I love
Yes.
it. I love it.
I told you we need to team up. There's power
We
in teamwork.
it is it's power in numbers and teamwork, and
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of teachers need to work more together anyway because we feel it. We know what's going on. We just need to get in the forefront of things because
Yeah.
parents really need to understand how we are here. We on the same team. I want the
Yeah.
best for your child just like you want the best for your child. And I know people, I don't have children.
Mm.
And people would think that I have children the way I love on children so much.
Yes, you
I
go hard for the babies. You don't
don't.
play about the babies.
Yes, I love
Yes.
them so much because it's very important in early childhood education. I'm very much fighting for people to be aware that that is the foundation. Everything is foundational, and it
Mm-hmm.
starts there, right? I'm trying to
Right.
prepare my children for when they come to you, so that the
Mm-hmm.
process isn't so hard. It isn't
Exactly.
so frustrating, and
Mm-hmm.
so we should always be working together to figure that out. And so even having these tough conversations with parents on my age group so that they are fully prepared for when they come to you. And like we know right now, times is changing because of COVID, and the educational system is even more screwed up and jacked up than
Mm-hmm.
ever before.
Yeah.
So parents have to be more involved.
Ball.
You have
Yep.
no choice in this
Yep.
at this point. So learn about that stuff for
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, because we have, at least bare minimum 20 kids in a classroom. And, as teachers, we try to give them, all of the support that we can possibly give. And like you said, if they are coming with a cup that's full with some of these strategies already in place, we can just remind them of the strategies. You know what I mean? We could have that same language and be like, if we could be on a common language and say, like,
Yes.
we could have that, we could just remind them instead of literally starting from scratch and teaching them. So I'm trying to teach content, but I can't really get to the content because the content right now is I can't really get to my reading and my writing content without like starting at the home base and
The
telling
home
you,
base, that
helping you to
foundation.
even, the foundation of like, you know, why you should even be believing in yourself, how
Mm-hmm.
you will get better over time, and, keep putting in the practice, do your part, in terms of being invested in your learning and
Mm-hmm.
having that intrinsic motivation. You know what I mean? A lot of students don't have intrinsic motivation because they don't, they don't have that support or they don't feel like it's been valued from from home. Like I have
home.
a lot of kids that be like, my my mom don't kids long as I don't get an F, I can get D's. Or I
Mm-hmm.
could get, and I'm like, okay, you know what I mean?
You
So it's
like, I'm
kind
gonna call your mama. Call her. I don't
of,
care.
yeah, it
You
is kind of
like,
like
then
if
you
you're
call
giving
their
that
mama and they really don't be caring. You be like, oh, okay. How am I
girl,
gonna fix this?
let me
Yeah.
tell you, I'm like, listen, I I call, email. I used to drop off homework on the block,
Mm-hmm.
literally.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, whatever had to be done, I was doing it. And it's just like sometimes you feel like you care more than a
Yeah, that
parent.
you.
You
Yes.
know what I mean? And so
Oh,
it's
I'm so glad you said it. I don't mean to cut you off, but this is a parent who is a teacher who's saying the same thing I'm saying. I just want to point that out now. I just want to point that out because people will come at my head like, "Oh, you ain't got no kids, so you don't understand." What? What?
no.
No. So you heard it from her.
Listen,
It's true. Just like we have bad teachers out there, and all teachers don't care. There are some parents out there that literally just don't care sometimes, and you will feel that. And there's a lot of teachers out there that feel that way. Because we're
yeah.
working with these children. I work with children from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's 12 hours out of a day.
Hmm.
And what they do when they get home? Eat, maybe, depending on their economical circumstances. Wash up, maybe, depending on their economical circumstances. And go to sleep,
Oh, you,
maybe.
well, play video games, be on the phone until 3 in the morning.
And then come to
And then
school tired.
come to school tired, and then you like, yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it, it's so funny because even when my son was younger, I realized I'm like, Dad, I'm giving a lot of energy to everybody else's kids.
And not even
And
your
I'm
own.
like, I'm over here chasing this person out, chasing this person out, making sure, like pouring into all these kids, because in a given year, you're teaching over 100 kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this one and this one, and emailing on the phone and doing this and doing that. And I'm like, I got my own
Here go
child.
my kid. Yep.
You
That's
know,
that's the
granted,
struggle.
he was, getting the what he needed from his dad, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Because he was in the household and he was, so it was kind of like, okay, you and dad, y'all do this. He was doing the homework with him, he was doing the
Mm-hmm.
football, the everything. He was doing all of that while I'm over here tending to everybody else's kids.
Yeah.
And I
I'm
was just
glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because I want to share a story real quick. Cause this is this moment hit me like it made me cry, y'all. Because
like,
I have a friend, and we was working at a center. I was the assistant director. I wasn't the director, but I felt like I was the director because the director wasn't doing anything. Anyway, I was the assistant director, and the center was getting ready to close because of all this other stuff, right? So I was helping everybody else get jobs and find other places everywhere else. So I had this one person, wonderful teacher, just the bomb.com. You know what I'm saying? Wonderful. And I was like, okay, where do you want to work at? Because let's get this paperwork. Let's figure this out. Da da da. And she was like, you know what, Miss J, I'm gonna take a break because the circumstances of what we was dealing with at that center, who we was helping, how ungrateful some of the parents was, how much of a fight and struggle it was. Like she said to me, she was like, I have a autistic child at home,
mm,
you know, and I'm sitting here fighting with who up, blah, blah, blah. They coming in class on their cell phone. They don't care to ask about their child day. They not doing this. They not doing that. And they getting mad at me, right? And
yeah,
I'm pouring more into their child than I'm pouring into mine. She was like, and I just need to pour into my child for a while. And I
yeah,
was like, you know what? I respect that.
yep.
And that is an issue that a lot of teachers have. That's
It's
a
a real
conflict.
thing.
It's an internal conflict. You know what I'm
It's a
saying?
real thing. It
It's
is a
real.
real,
And that
real.
could be a traumatic experience. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of stuff I'm telling y'all, a lot of stuff was going down at that center. And it was very frustrating. I mean, this is a child care, okay? And
Mm,
we was taking self-defense
babies.
classes. Right, because of the market, we working in the hood. This is, okay. But we have to
Mm-hmm.
take self-defense classes. I'm always talking. I have to talk parents off the ledge. I've had to, stop fights and tell people, like, you're not about to fight this teacher. And if you think you about to fight this teacher or jump on this teacher, then you're going to have to go through me first. Right? Like, them type of conversation we having in a daycare center. Birth
Wow.
to 5. Right?
Wow.
And that, it was those type of moments. So I respected her decision and everything that she said. And I understood, even though I couldn't understand it exactly how deep it was. You know what I'm saying? I can never, because I don't have a child with autism, whatever. But I empathize. Like, I got it. Like, okay,
Yeah.
And I support you 100%.
It's a real thing.
It's real. It's real.
It is a real thing, and that's crazy. You were in a daycare. I mean, I've experienced that too, but it was when I was in a 6th grade through 12th grade school.
Oh yeah,
where where parents wanted to fight teachers, wanted to fight kids. It was crazy.
Oh,
but that's 6 through 12. But you're in a daycare and that stuff happening. Good grief, that is a mess,
girl. A lot. It's crazy out here, and I don't think people really understand or notice or even know about those things. And so this is real, and we have to teach people through these traumatic experiences. And like you said, when a child hit this little breaking point and they no longer know what to do, then they come for help. When you shouldn't wait until that breaking point. So for parents who are experiencing traumatic or are trying to, they know they have been through something traumatic, right? What is the first step for them? What should they do first?
So, actually, just to go back to the first point about first connecting the dots and really reflecting on or assessing how, because like you said, some people don't even know. But for the ones who know, reflecting on the effects of that, of what you've been through, right? Not the actual what, but how did it affect you? Did it make you become numb? Or did it make you become harsh? Did it make you become, not present? Do you self, medicate? Do you what's the effects? Because now that you know the effects, you can say, okay, so how are these effects affecting my parenting? It's kind of like a step-by-step process, you know what I mean? So for example, growing up, how I was not parented with like a lot of love from my mom. And or she said I love you, but she didn't show I love you. It was a lot of abuse. It was a lot of verbal abuse. It was a lot of just fighting back and forth. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we did not have, she had me at 16, so we had like a sister relationship. And she didn't raise me, So on top of it, when she came back into my life, it was a lot of trauma in between that. But when she came back, it was kind of like, who you to tell me, what I mean, XYZ, I was raised by my nana. So there was a lot of traumatic word choice, and it was just negative. Yeah. And so one of the things I remember my son telling me, when he was real young, he might have been like 8, and he was like, "You're harsh," and I was like, "Harsh like what?" And I was like, "Are you sure you mean harsh?" And he was like, "Yeah, you're harsh." And then he gave me some examples of whatever, just in terms of the emotional affection, like hugging and, like, I guess he, like, I'm not a softie, like soft, like honey this, honey, like that. And to him, he was interpreting that as being harsh, you know what I mean? And when he told me that, I had to do some reflecting. And I'm like, yeah, that was my survival mechanism. I had to be harsh. I couldn't be vulnerable. I had to reflect on that. So I was reflecting on, like, dang, this is how, these are the things that I went through in my, I guess the effects of it was, I had to put up like walls, and I couldn't be vulnerable because I had to protect myself. And that was my survival. That's how I made it through, being parented in the way I was parented. And so I'm like, dang, my energy the way my energy is coming off to him from coming from, you know, teaching my students and then coming home, I probably do feel harsh because I'm stressed out here.
Yeah.
And then I already got certain, you know, walls up that I didn't even realize or whatever. So one little thing now, you know what I mean, it might feel like I'm not like, you know, I'm like annoyed or I'm not emotionally connected with you in terms of, you know, just being I guess just speaking maybe in a softer tone or, you
Right.
know, just giving you, you know, more. He's his love language is like kisses and hugs.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like just giving you more hugs and kisses and stuff like that. But I'm glad that he told me that at a young age. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it helped me to like, you know,
Change.
really reflect
Mhm.
on that and change and be like, oh wow, like I do have certain walls up and I need to be more vulnerable with him and show him, you know what I mean? Like it's okay to be, you know, that I'm vulnerable and you know what I mean, I could drop a tear, like not hide my tears. You know
Uh,
what I'm saying?
I'm
It's so,
glad you said that. I'm really glad you say that because I tell parents, as we're talking about social and emotional, I tell parents all the time, you have to, it's okay for you to express how you feel to your children too. There's nothing
mhm.
wrong with that. And we grew up in an era where our parents didn't barely said I love you.
Girl.
It was
My
no
nana never
hugs.
said I love you. Me and my nana never said I love you until like when she was like
Get
really
ready
because when
sick.
I started taking care of her. But my
Mm-hmm.
mother, she used to say I love you all the time, but her actions would show different. So I
Yeah.
always had an issue with the I love yous because it was like I would never hear I love you from the person that showed me love, but the
Yes.
person who didn't show me love, who literally would fight me like I was somebody out in the street. She like I love you to death. We'll have a fight and she'll like I love you. Huh? Like what in the hell?
Yeah.
Like sure
Right.
I love you to death, but be doing like I'm just like
All type of
and
stuff.
so that I love you, I feel like even that emotional part that affected me, you know, in a way that I didn't even realize until my
Yeah.
son. Luckily, he, you know, he's always been verbal and expressive.
I'm
He
glad.
called me out on it when he was real little, and I was like, oh, let me figure this thing out, honey.
And I'm glad that you listen. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because that's another thing. I think, and what I'm hearing from you, that would be the second step, right? See how it affected you, and then now listen to your child.
yep,
Listen to actually what they saying with open ears, open heart, open mind, just with
yep,
all openness. Don't get offended because they're telling you how they feel, and you need to
exactly,
listen, right? And a lot of
exactly.
times parents are not listening at all. You don't even know. You don't know nothing. I could look at a child for 5 minutes and they're like, well, how you know that?
Uh huh.
So I'm just watching. You're not
Yep,
looking. You're not hearing. Not what are you looking at? You know what I'm saying?
yep.
What do you focus on, right?
That's a part of
So
it too. Being able to listen and not only listen to what's said, listen to what's not said. Because if your
exactly,
child is not saying anything to you and they're reserving and they're pulling back from you and they don't have anything to say and they're pulling away, now is a reason for that too.
it's a reason. Oh,
You
I
know
was
what I
talking
mean?
about that too. On my child is out of control. Are they out of
Mm-hmm.
control? Are they? Because it could be something deeper, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so we got the first two steps. What's
Yeah.
the
So
what's the next
so
step?
so wait, what I said? I said connected. I said first, assess
The
how you
effective.
parented, assess how you're not parented, commit the after you assess those things, really figure out how
Habit.
it shaped your parenting,
Mm-hmm.
right? Do the listening and things like that. And then you have to reframe and regroup like I did in terms of that example I gave you, right? So you need to do, you know, that's why I help with the doing something differently. Because now if you're able to put it out there, if you're able to say like, you know, I say that, you know, a lot of times we say the same things and we do the same things that our parents do and said,
Mm.
even if we say we're not going to do it, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're able to now verbalize it, I can now help you do something different. I can help
Yeah.
you change that behavior. You get what I'm saying? So
Right.
now that we have it out there and we've talked about it and we've talked about how this is affecting your child in a negative way, now we can do a different route. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which it could be, let's figure out your child's love language.
Yep.
Like if I know that if we know that your child's love language is showing
words of
affection
affection.
or words of affirmation or spending time, then you buying them gifts every Saturday ain't helping. You taking them
Ain't
out
helping.
shopping every weekend. So you're saying, oh, I take you shopping every weekend. I buy you these sneakers. I buy you that sneakers. Why are you acting like that? Because they still don't feel love.
And they don't feel love.
They don't
And I'm
feel
gonna tell you now, even a younger child, the younger they are, I don't care. I think all young children. This is my personal opinion from my personal experience from working with children for over 15 years in early childhood education. All they love language is time. If you are not present in their life, you are not going to matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could be with a child and been teaching them and and then time went by, that child probably won't even remember me, right? And you come back into that child life like, oh, you don't remember me and blah blah blah. No, I don't. Right? And I just really feel like for children, young children, no matter what, that is a love language whatsoever. Now, as they get older, it could change.
It starts changing when they get into like middle school. They start wanting this, and you even see it like in classrooms where sometimes like I give out something called yellow tickets to help them like to to get motivated to have a conversation, and I'll do random raffles. And for some kids that is a great motivator, and for others they're not motivated by external motivation. Like even if I'm giving them a chance to earn a gift or something like that, that's just not something they're into. You know what I mean? Like that's just not their thing. Not all, you know what I mean? So I have to find a different way. They might just need to hear, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. Oh my goodness, we should send this to your mom. Oh my gosh. Like they might just need to hear just that praise and they don't care about a ticket. Right. Whereas another kid, they looking like, yeah, I know it's nice. Can I get a ticket? Exactly. But they like, can I get my prize?
Can I get my prize?
All kids are different, you know what I mean? And as parents, we gotta, especially when we have more than one, we need to figure out like maybe what works for one is not going to work for the other. So you think that you're trying to figure out like, well, why when I do this for this child, you know what I mean? But this child seems to be ungrateful. It's not really necessarily that they're ungrateful. But that's not their thing. It's not their thing. So you got to get down to the bottom. So that's my next step. Is once they have everything, laid down, they can verbalize that and we can figure that out together. It's kind of like, okay, so how can we operate from there? Let's get to know who your child is at their core. And I do like, I like doing stuff like finding out their, not only their love languages, but also doing like a strengths test finder. So like a Clifton strengths test finder to see who like their strengths, to see how they operate, you know what I mean? Like who they are at their being. I also like to do their life. Yes, I like to do their life path numbers. So like I'll be like, I'll show them how to calculate their life path and we'll go and read like okay, let's read their life path number and see like, you know what I mean? You trying to push them to do this, but this is what they should be doing. This is what's going to light them up. You know what I mean? Which they might not even know. This is something that you should share with them. It's so funny. My son and I got the same life path number. And I'm like, Dad, no wonder we act alike. So much. And so when I have to remind him, I'm like, look, and your life path number, it says that this is what you should be doing. And that's why you're he's great at building relationships. And that's a part of life path 3. And I'm like, that's something that you always want to hold on to. Don't think that that's just like, that's a part of, don't overlook that, And so that's something, if just learning those little ways to get down to who your child is at their core, it's also helping you to connect with them and bond with them and build a relationship with them.
I'm so glad you say that because I talk about that all the time. The children, you could kind of see that in them at a young age. I be in my 3-year-old class, 2-year-old class. We looking at them, even toddler classes. I had this one little girl. Every time I sat down, she played in my hair with a block. And she'd just be, and pretending to wash my hair. Then she'd be talking in gibberish and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. I'm like, is he done? Are you done? No. And it's just funny. So, like, even with that, like, what you saying that, I tell parents all the time, like, pay attention to those things because you could then start pouring into that, right? So, for Christmas, I bought her a little mannequin doll that she could do hair with, and she just loved it as a toddler. But somebody else would be like, "Oh, this is too much." Well, no, it's not because she come in, she playing my hair, every single day with that
So
little dirty
she
block.
gonna
You know what I'm saying? With the little dirty block and stuff. I just be like, I
that
have
is
to do it.
hilarious.
But like, yeah, like you could do that
Mm-hmm.
just by observing, you know, and you can learn
Yeah.
a lot from your child. That's like you said, that's building a relationship.
One of the things that I'm adding into I'm learning about human design. It's like it's a real intricate or whatever, but it's another way to get down to like who you are as a person. I had a human design coach and I learned so much from her about myself, and I was like, Dad, I can use this in my classroom, I can use this with my kids. So now last year I asked my parents to fill out, you got to, in order to know your human design, you need to know your birthday, um, your birthplace, and the time you were born. And then it gives you like your human design chart, and it tells you like it basically go based on your chakras, and it'll tell you like if you make decisions from your sacral versus like if your head is open, your anja is open, your
You
throat
should
is
do that
open.
with me.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
it's really cool. And I'm gonna do it this year too. I'm gonna ask the parents because I just want to see. I want to make observations between the kids' human designs and how they're learning, how they learn. And I feel like if I can, that's something that's my professional goal for this year, in terms of seeing how human design connects to how students learn, and if in like how we can tailor and differentiate our instruction based on their human design. And once I can do that, that's another way I can teach parents as well to, or help parents to, you know what I mean? Of course, you could dig more into it, or parents can dig more into it on their own too. But just at least opening the conversation, like a lot, like we don't have to know everything about it, but we can say these are the tools.
Yeah.
Let's look into it together.
Yep.
And since it's middle school, the student a lot of times will take the rein on things and say, like, a lot of my students were real into like astrology and all that stuff. And it's kind of like, oh, well, let me see if this stuff applies to me. You know what I mean? They can take the ownership over it. So
Yeah.
that's another strategy. And then once we get through that part, the next part is let me see, I have my, oh yeah, identifying your trauma triggers. So if you could identify what triggers you, like what are your trauma triggers emotionally, physically, even financially, mentally, spiritually, like what triggers you, if you can identify that, you could then make a connection between, or make a judgment based on whether or not, are you raising your child, are you raising your child, like is your trauma raising your child, like you know what I mean? Like, are your behaviors trauma related? You know what I mean? Are you coming from a place of trauma, a place of fear, a place of control when when you're raising your child? You know what I mean? Like, where are you
I
coming from?
like that.
Yeah, so
I'm
we
gonna have to
talk
steal
about
that.
that.
I'm just letting you know right now.
Yeah,
That's gonna be
go
a
ahead.
question on my page.
Is your
Is your
trauma raising your
trauma
child?
raising your child? Ooh, that's deep, baby. Let me snap my fingers.
Listen, it's really a real
It's
thing.
real.
One of the things I talk about with my kids in my classroom is I let them, we all talk about like what triggers us, like what is the trigger for us. And so like one of the questions I ask them is like, what do you need from your teacher to be successful? What do you need from your classmates to be successful? And and in that conversation we talk about like our triggers, like we need this because certain things will trigger a response from us. So we're very clear in the beginning, like the first week, second week of school, we're talking about those triggers because it's kind of like, yes,
Yes, Sister Colette. Yes,
it's like,
I
how
told
do
you
you
that was deep right there.
yeah, like
We
how do
about to
you
get heavy
avoid
in
it?
the rotation. Cause I'm already in my head. See, this is how you learn from other teachers, and I ain't too proud.
Listen,
I give a teacher a prop in a second, and I
listen.
would choose your stuff.
Let's all teachers do it, honey. We all do it. But it's a real thing. It's kind of like, how can you expect them to like, how can you expect to have a healthy, healed, and happy relationship if you don't even know like what triggers you? You get what I'm saying? And so once you figure out what is triggering you, you also need to figure out what's triggering your child and how do you guys trigger each other.
Yes.
You get what I mean? Because a lot of times you're raising your child from trauma. Now you done triggered them and causing trauma within them, and now y'all just triggered each other back and forth and screaming and yelling.
Talk on it. I'm talking because I swear
It is a hot mess.
A whole month I was just working with somebody going through that same thing, and they a young adult. You know what I'm saying? And that I'm telling y'all, parents, that is so real. And then we're at school and we're trying to work through this with them, and it's a constant battle because it's kind of like you. As a teacher, it's like you making progress, and then you send them back home, and then it's like all that progress went out the window.
Right.
It's so frustrating.
So frustrating.
That's why we gotta work with the parents too, because I be ready to just be like, ooh, you know.
It's so. Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
It's so serious.
Now, you about to look. We about to run that. It's your trauma raising your child, because I'm telling you, it's a lot of parents' trauma out here raising a child, and they don't even recognize it. They don't even know, right? And so that girl, that's a good one. You got a book right there,
girl. It is,
girl.
It is definitely a serious thing. Sometimes we'll get like so upset, about something that our kid is doing and or not doing, and it's kind of like,
you do it too,
right?
That's where they getting it from. They getting it from you.
It's like, oh wait, they got it from me, and you don't even realize that you're doing it.
Yeah,
you don't even realize that you're doing it.
Don't even realize.
And you're like, you're getting it. Yeah, they act just like you, and you haven't made that connection that wow, I've been parenting from this space. You know what I mean? Or they're always, you're talking to them in a way where it's kind of like you haven't learned how. Like a lot of our parents will talk at us and they didn't talk to us.
Oh, yes. Girl, you speaking on everything I just spoke on in my last live. Boy, go, girl.
So, I mean, so what happens is, it's kind of like if that happens to us growing up, it's easy to then talk at our kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's such a big difference when you're talking at the kids.
Yeah.
The reason why in my classroom I can be, my title is my relationship builder. Like that, no matter what school I'm in, like I build great relationships with my kids. Yeah. And everybody love Miss Smith or whatever. I get all the the hard students, so quote unquote, because
I love them, by the way.
Yeah, those are my favorite babies because the missing link is that relationship.
Yep.
And the way you build that relationship is you're talking with them and you are not talking at them. Not, you should be doing this. You should be doing that. You should. No, you're helping them. We all know.
You asking them more questions than you talking to them. Because they want to encourage them to figure it out for themselves. That's
exactly. We all know what we should be doing. Our job is to, even kids, they know what they should be doing. Our job is to help bring it out of them. Let them come to that realization. You know what I mean? Bring it out of them, not telling them you should be doing that, you should be doing this, you should be doing that.
Girl,
bring it out.
You don't like my book. You gonna love it.
Yes, I can't wait. I can't wait for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's on point, y'all. Y'all need to go follow her at Healthy, Healed, and Happy.
Yes.
Now when I put this thing down, we coming up on an hour. I do want to ask the people in the audience if you have any questions, really quick, as we wrap this up, because I mean, you ended on with a banger though. Like I'm just saying that we gonna have to run that. Is your child raising your child? I think everybody should. That is a key question. Oh, you froze. Don't leave. You back. Okay, because you froze up for a while. I'm like, don't leave yet.
Yeah, you was frozen a little bit too. That's why I was like. So then my last, can you hear me? Can you hear and see me now?
Yeah, I can hear
my last step to that step-by-step process is, now that you've done that, now you can create mutually honoring practices and parameters with your child. Now you could work together because now
Yes.
you know what triggers me. I know what triggers you. I understand how I'm bringing in my the way I was parented into this situation. I
Yes.
understand we got all that out the way. I understand who you are as a person. I know your love language. I know your life path. I know this, like I know your strengths. I know your weakness. I know what you don't like. Like I know all of these things now. And
Yeah.
now we already have, because the work that the best work is them doing it together. Like I'm helping you as a parent to uncover this, but you're also sharing this with your child. It's not like you're
Yes.
doing this in isolation. It's work you got to do in isolation. But then
Yes.
now you're sharing with your child too. So now that you know all of this, it's kind of like, okay, let's work together to create
A
mutually,
plan. Yep.
yeah, things that, but it's going to benefit us together, like, you know what I mean, like we're
Example.
both on the
Mm-hmm.
same page, you get what I'm
Yes.
saying? And so now it doesn't feel like you're just telling them what to, what you need them to do, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yes.
like, first of all, now they see you as a human, because a lot of my kids be like, oh, my mother cringe, like they don't see you as like that's their new word, cringe. They don't see you as like this cringy human that just happens to be like in their household. They actually see you as, I mean, as this cringy parent, they actually see you as an actual human being.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's
Yeah.
the goal, is for them to see you as a human being and not some cringy parent lady.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You have a question. Jasmine Fashnell said, "Will you be helping parents in a one-on-one coaching?"
Yes, I will. I will.
Yes. Can you
In
give them
fact,
the information on how they could reach you?
yeah, you can text parenting to 508-213-9103. I
I'm
don't
gonna
know
put
how to pin anything or
I'm gonna put it in the comments. 508
213
213
9103.
9103. Oh wait,
And
3 parents.
and when you text that, I'm gonna send social and emotional strategies periodically for both parents and for your children, for you
Yes.
to implement as well. And then I'll also keep you posted on when I'm gonna roll out that my one-on-ones and my group coaching program that I'm telling you about right now.
Yes.
But yeah, you can it just feels so much better when you're collaborating together. And that's what I do in my classroom. And that's why I have very minimal problems in my classroom,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't come in
Same
here
here.
like these are like I never like first day of school, it's not like these are the rules, these are the expectations. Like I go over, obviously general
Basic.
the main
Yeah.
things, like okay,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But we
Come
create
up
our
with the
norms
rules
and
together.
our
Yep.
culture. Yeah, we come up with
Yep.
our norms and our culture together.
Yep.
So now you had a hand in it. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Now, as a parent,
And
it
it
does
helps
take a
me
little bit.
hold you accountable
It
too when
helps
you
me
breaking
hold you
your
accountable.
own rule. Yep.
Exactly. And it takes a little bit of finessing as a parent, because obviously we still got the final say. But you do it in a way where they feel like they have control. You
Yep.
get what I'm saying? So like, for example, for my son, I may say to him like, okay, what time do you think would be an appropriate time for you to come in the house?
Right.
All right, so do you want to do the dishes before you go outside
Yep.
or after you go outside? It don't make a difference to me.
Yeah.
You could do it before you go out, or you could do it when you come home. Which one would you like to do?
But you gotta do them.
Oh, okay, I'll do it after. I'll do it before I go out. Perfect. Makes perfect sense. Or,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Do you want to read your 20 pages, or you want to read your chapter before or after? You
After.
know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm giving you options.
Options.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? You feel like you have control, but these are the options.
Yes. Yes. I'm so glad you saying all this, because I just feel like it just be me talking on these points all the time. It's not.
I'm here with you, sis.
What's up? What's up? It's not just me, y'all. Like now, y'all can see like it's other teachers. Like, and this is how y'all know she a good teacher, because you see how excited I'm getting. I don't be getting excited for people who just I know how I am. You see how excited I'm getting, because this is real. This is
Yes.
real. What she's saying is true. Go follow her. Go follow. Tell them where they can follow you at.
Yes, you can follow me at Healthy, Healed, and Happy on my Instagram page, or you could text parenting to 508-213-9103. I will be giving you guys some tools and some resources and some strategies to implement as a parent, and also for your child to implement. I mostly focus on tweens, so like from ages 11 into teenage years and up. However, a lot of the things that I do share and a lot of the resources that I share can still be modified for younger, for
Yes.
younger kids. But that's my wheelhouse. Like,
Yeah.
11 and up is my
I got
area of expertise.
I got you, because you know what? For every parent, because I do parent education classes too, and for every parent that has that age group, I'm just gonna send them to you. I'm just gonna be like, hey, I got a partner. She do what she do. She be doing it.
Listen,
Look,
I love the teens.
yes,
Teens is that's literally my favorite group. Let me tell you, before I started teaching, I literally taught pre-K all the way up. Like I've substituted for a whole year, and I took every single grade, and the teens stole my heart.
That's awesome.
Because they just needed so much, and I was like, oh my gosh, and I couldn't do the babies. The babies would walk right all over me. They were too cute. They were too cute. They were too cute. They
like,
walked
oh,
right.
I just want to hug you.
Girl, I let them babies do whatever they wanted to do. I was a pre-K
girl.
I was a pre-K teacher for like 1 month. Girl, it was like it lasted like I was a substitute for 1 month for pre-K, and I was like, girl, these kids was running all. They was too. They look. I was like, we gotta be on a schedule. They want to play some more.
Yeah, no, you gotta keep them on schedule.
I know.
They was getting
like,
over.
We were having so much fun doing this, and the other teacher in the room, she was like, "No, now it's time for this." I'm like, "But we having fun doing dramatic play."
Girl, sixth, 7th, 8th grade on high school, I can't. First and foremost, I look so young, right? So them little boys, I couldn't, and the little girls, they be trying to try you. I'm
Girl,
like, oh, I'm about to be in jail somewhere now.
I was only 10 years apart from my kids in middle school. My first year students now are 29 and 30.
Yeah. I don't know how y'all do it, because my cousin, he look young too, and he with it. But with me, I don't know. I just feel I could do it, but a lot of times I feel uncomfortable because I gotta hire as many the boys all the time. Like, hey, bro, I'm a grown woman. I gotta stop the little girls for trying to holler at the grown men. He is a grown man. Like, it's always that was my struggle with that age group the most, and that it was just like I can't. Let me go back to
most people struggle with the attitudes.
It wasn't the attitudes, because I said this in a couple of my videos. I got a little bit of pettiness in me sometimes. I'll go there.
You gotta be petty when you're dealing with middle school. You have to.
Good spot. You really do be having to go there with like.
It's only girl. They only respect you when you petty. Okay.
Only. That's the only time, right? So it's not the attitude, because
they
coming in, they can't stand me, right? They can't stand me. They really can't. But then they grow to love me, and I be like, you ain't gotta like me, but you can't respect me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
and when they see that and when they see that, they will. When they see that, they're like, oh, okay, I ain't going. They like, oh, she cool. They will. You know they gonna test you.
It's like sister act. Like, I think she's a sister for real. Yeah, I'm from the same hood you from. What you talking about?
Oh, right.
I go there with you. Don't play with me. So,
it's so true.
That's my experience, but it's just me feeling like uncomfortable for the most part, because I'm like, why do you look older than me? Like, why? Why are you trying to talk to this grown man? It's like, where with my babies, they already think I'm 100, and it's, it's cute, like, oh, you think I'm 100? Yeah, But then they be like, Miss J, can I get your number? Can I take you home? No, leave me alone. So yeah, it's y'all. Kudos to you and every young teacher around the world who working with these young high schoolers and 6th, 7th, 8th graders. Y'all got it. I said I won't teach that grade until I look like my grandma.
Stop it.
So I got a long time. I can't be in there like, what's the lady, Mrs. Treadwell off of Martin? I can't go in there looking like her. Can't.
I'm done. That is hilarious. You're so silly. Oh my God.
Kudos to y'all. It's I love children in all age groups. You know what I'm saying? They all need the same type of love. They all go through the same, type of things. And everything that you're saying, like even with your age group, this is stuff that I teach with my parents for my age group and age group. It just shows how much it just levels to it, right? Like it grow. So
Yep.
yes, anytime I get a parent with your age group, baby, I will happily
Listen,
send
as
them your way, because I can't do it all, and I
long,
know that what we do with parents, even with parent education, a lot of it is very confidential. A lot of it takes a lot of vulnerability for the parents. Did you freeze? Oh,
mm-hmm.
okay. It takes a lot of vulnerability for the parents, and a lot of times they don't want to come out to the forefront with their issues or their problems. That's a lot of difficulties that I deal with, even with me doing all of this on social media. So it takes a lot, right? And
Yeah.
it could be time consuming, you know, because it's
Yeah.
levels to it. It's increments, like you said. It's steps, and you don't want them to not be discouraged and stop. You want to encourage them to keep going. And sometimes, you know, you feel like you shouldn't have to hold their hand, but through processes like this, you literally do have to hold their hand through the process, because it's for the betterment of the child, essentially their
Yep.
betterment, your growth and your development as a person and as a parent, even as us as teachers. It's always for the
Yeah.
betterment of that student and of that child. So y'all definitely go follow Miss Nasia at Healthy. Oh, I put it in there wrong. You don't have to put it in there. I left off the Y. At Healthy, Healed, and Happy. I'm gonna post up
Oh,
this
okay.
video, and I'm gonna tag her in it. But everybody go follow her, because all the information she's laying out there and everything she's saying about connecting with children, there we go, is is true, right? And we all have to work together. It's a cajillion people on this earth. We cannot do it alone. And you see what is happening to the school systems now. So it's very, 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 very important for us to work together. And I just want to thank you, Miss Nasia, Miss Smith. You know, I got Smith in my family. I said we might be family.
We
That's
may.
my last name.
Listen, we may. I got to go back and look at my DNA tree. You ever done the DNA
Yeah,
thing?
yeah.
I got to go look at
Um,
that. But yeah,
Thank you
thank
for
you for
coming
having
out
me
and
on.
talking to everybody, y'all. This has been the first session of. Thank you for being the first to come back to my dropping gem sessions,
Thank
y'all.
you for inviting me. I appreciate
Yes,
it. I definitely appreciate it. We got to do it more often. And
yes, she is lifting. She is. We focus on these four key gems and dropping gems, which is parent education, teacher training, small business development, and raising the standards and values within our culture and our communities.
that's a snap.
Yes. And let me tell you, what you're doing, you're touching on all of those. You know, you raising the standards and values. You're doing parent education, you teacher training, you know, you're doing all of that. So yes, I kudos to you and all your work, your hard work, and everything that you're doing for our students in the community. And I appreciate you. I
Thank you.
appreciate you.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate you again for thinking of me and inviting me on to share your lovely platform and drop some gems.
Yes,
I
y'all go follow
appreciate
her.
it. Yes. Oh, and also I just want to say to your audience too that I am there's a new app called the Girl app coming out for Black
Mm-hmm.
women in particular. Anybody can join, but it's Black women content creators, and I am one of 40 content creators. Everyone has a salon on that space, and we call it a salon because of the historical nature of salons. That was like our safe space back in the day, and you
Mm-hmm.
could be, you know, vulnerable and talk about what it is that you
Yeah.
need to talk about. So this is a safe space created. It's a app created by a Black woman
Mm-hmm.
named Dr. Venus Opal Reese. You can look her up. She has a show on Amazon called The Hot Mess Millionaire.
Oh,
You can
okay.
look her up on YouTube and everything. And it will be dropping soon. So I will be giving more details about that on my page. But on my platform, on that salon, is going to be the same thing, parenting after trauma. And
Yes.
we're going to talk. I don't know if you guys can see my shirt. It says generational curse breaker. We're going to be talking about ways to what I'm talking about on that platform is different than what I'm talking about on Instagram. So on that platform, we're going to talk about more of how to break curses, generational curses, parenting curses in terms of financially, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and I'm going to be a little more vulnerable too on that platform because it's more,
Yes.
is you
I
have to,
get it. I know.
yeah,
I can't
yeah.
wait
That
till my
platform is that's
website
our
to be
safe
done because it's gonna
space.
get real. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'll keep you guys posted on that on the girl app. And if oh shoot, what was I gonna say? Oh, and if you want to, I think you can like pre sign up for it as
Mm-hmm.
well. So also if you text parenting to that number, I'll
Mm-hmm.
send you the link to do like a you could it's like an early adapter program to the app so you can check it out.
Yes. I
Yeah.
love it. Yes. Look at all this Black
Thank
excellence.
you. Yes.
Woman excellence.
And
Yes.
there's
I
other
love it.
women creators on there who are amazing. And I mean, the subjects go from like sex and kink
Mm-hmm.
to like, all types of stuff, like health,
Everything.
like eating healthy, cooking
Yeah.
healthy, to like, what else? There's people talking about finances, like
Mm-hmm.
just finances. Like it's all different. Everybody got their own niche.
Yes.
So it won't be just me on there. You'll be following a lot of amazing Black women content creators.
Awesome. I'm gonna have to see if I can hop on that joint.
Yes, it's going to be. I think it's going to be a wave. It's going to be a
Yes.
vibe.
Yes. I love it. I love to hear. I love it. I'm gonna have to look into that. Get some more
Yeah,
information about that. Can't wait till you drop all that information.
I will definitely keep you guys posted.
Well, thank you again. Thank everybody for coming out. And again, go follow Nasia at Healthy, Healed, and Happy. Check her out. Text parenting. Is that parenting? What was it
Mm-hmm.
you said?
Yep.
Parenting to 508-213-9103. If you need some of her assistance for getting yourself together for your children, getting through these traumatic experiences and learning a little bit more about social and emotional development and learning. Um, y'all got it. Go follow her. And again, this is Miss
I got.
J dropping gems. And thank you guys for tuning in with us. I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye. See ya.
See you.